you start trading, your first thought is typically to copy someone who's already successful or is portraying the idea that they're successful in the markets. And nowadays, social media is likely to tell you to become a day trader, but I'm here to tell you that will never work. Trading is an individual journey, and having a profitable system requires you, the user, to be comfortable and confident executing that system over and over. You wouldn't want to ask someone who's extremely impatient to wait for a bus that isn't coming for a few hours, just like you wouldn't force someone who takes their time making calculated decisions to make up their mind on something important in a few minutes. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all the different trading styles so you can figure out which one best suits you. If you want to learn more about how this ties into a full trading system, make sure you check out my One Strategy for Life video right here. Now grab your notebooks and let's get into the video. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about, what kind of trader are you? Now, this is going to be very individualized. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. You're going to have different strengths and weaknesses. You're going to have different personalities. And I think trading really should be about what fits you and not what everybody else is doing. So everybody on social media right now is showing you day trading, scalping, have to be active. And the reality is that most people can't do that, and most people aren't even profitable doing that. So it can be a very an environment where everybody's pushing this narrative on you and forcing you to try and be this type of trader that doesn't really fit your personality or lifestyle. So let's dive into the different types of trading, and I've had experience with all these different ones, and we're gonna go talk about what type of trading it is, what the goals of it are, and what type of different personalities might fit which style of trading. All right, so let's first talk about position trading. And the goals, obviously, for this type of trade is, longer term. So long-term capital growth, you're going to have significant capital appreciation over an extended period of time, often weeks or months or even years. And when I'm talking about position trading, I want you guys to think about, kind of like institutional style, long-term portfolio management, essentially. So with position trading, you want to have a well-diversified portfolio or a basket of trades that you're running all at one time. That way you can have uncorrelated markets. You might have, risk on in one asset. It could be long euro, short gold, for example, and they kind of act as a hedge. So a lot of times with position traders, they might not even have a stop loss, or might have an extremely wide stop loss because their goal is not to play the market, for short-term gains. They're really maybe trying to find one name or one market that they think is going to trend in one direction for a long period of time, and then average in, scale in into that trade, even if it goes against them. All right, so the leverage, a lot of position traders are not really using so much leverage. They're not using tons of leverage. They're really just trying to buy assets outright when they can afford it, stocks, things like that, and really just average into a position and not have to worry so much about the short-term fluctuations against them. So personality traits, right? Somebody that's patient, is a strategic thinker, disciplined, and long-term focused. So somebody that's a position trader is going to spend a lot of time doing their analysis, coming up with the trade that they want to put on. Whereas short-term swing trading, they might not put that much thought into it. So this is really good for people that are a little bit more risk averse. They're not trying to take crazy risks in the market. They're not really trying to be super active. Maybe they have a business or multiple businesses that they're trying to run on the side, so they just don't even have the time to sit down in front of the screens. Then in that case, position trading can be a very great position trading can be a very good vehicle for making money in the markets. So the pros, it's obviously less frequent trading, which reduces the emotional stress as well as the workload, lower costs and commissions due to fewer transactions. So you might only be taking, one trade, two trades a month, or adding into that position. You're not going to have, a lot of fees when it comes to spreads or contract costs, things like that. The cons, the capital's tied up for longer periods, which reduces your liquidity. So sometimes, when we talk about portfolio management, essentially it is with wealth management, they're trying to allocate pretty much all the capital. So when we're talking about somebody that has maybe $1 million, $2 million or up, what happens is they're taking that portfolio and are just saying, all right, well, I only want to have like 10 or 20% of that portfolio in cash. So they might only have 100K, 200K in cash for opportunities that pop up. But the rest of it, they're just trying to deploy in the market and get a longer term gain out of a specific market, right? So when we're talking about, yearly changes on the S&P or something like that, if they're averaging 10, 15%, right, a position trader might be okay with that, because they're averaging in, they're building up their position, and they're just riding that longer wave, right? And again, with position trading, you barely even have to manage that portfolio that much. You might be in a position where you only have to look at it once a quarter. You might only, rebalance your portfolio once a quarter or something like that, or once a month, whatever the case is. So again, this is going to be for somebody that's extremely patient, takes their time with making decisions, and doesn't rush into things. So swing trading, this is the style of trading that I got into when I first started trading, and I recommend it to most people that are working full-time jobs that don't have the time to sit in front of screens. And we'll get into that when we get into short-term trading. But with swing trading, you're just trying to capitalize on medium-term market movements. So it might be a week, it might be a couple days, it might be 2 weeks. Nothing really over a month, though, in my opinion. So personality traits. You're adaptable, you're analytical. So being adaptable, right? The market conditions might change on you based on a specific news event coming out, or specific narrative coming out from the Fed, something like that. Analytical, obviously, you're still doing a fair amount of analysis when it comes to swing trading, because you're going to be following more markets. You might be following 15 to 20 different markets in a watch list. That way you can at least have some decent frequency, but then you're not trading a whole lot. You're really only just trying to pick the best markets to trade. All right, so you're patient yet active. So you're okay waiting for the moves to set up, but you're active enough to put on risk and be okay with taking risks. All right, pros, moderate time commitment. So when we're talking about time, you might spend the end of every day, you might sit down and review your charts. It's a balanced approach, so you could be working a full-time job, you could not be. With swing trading, it's great because there's so much flexibility around it. Oftentimes, you don't have to be monitoring your positions all the time. You can just place your trades and close the terminals and go do something else with your life, right? And that's why I think swing trading probably has the best flexibility out of any of these, because you're still getting a decent amount of frequency depending on the amount of markets that you're following, but it's not so much that you're going to make mistakes, because the more you trade, the more room for error there is. So pros, moderate time commitment, balanced approach, flexibility. Cons, time intensive, regular monitoring of the markets. Now that can be what you want it to, what you want to make it. You don't have to be sitting in front of the screens all the time. With swing trading though, again, if you have a full-time job, if you're trying to learn trading, in my opinion, swing trading is probably one of the best ways to try and learn, because it's not super active. You can still do, you can still get your job duties out of the way if you have meetings, whatever the case is. It doesn't require you to be in front of the screens managing that position nonstop. If you've been struggling with trading and want direct access to a 7-figure trader, I'm building the best community in the trading space. If you want me to walk you through the markets live every single week, answer your questions, and review your trading journal so you can improve quickly, then make sure you apply using the link below. This won't be for everyone, and I'm only looking for the most serious, dedicated traders looking to take their craft to the next level. Short-term trading, this is just going to be for capitalizing on short-term market movements. It involves holding positions for several hours to several days. And again, when we're talking about short-term trading, and I know everybody out there wants to become a short-term trader, intraday trader, but the reality is, if you're not doing this full-time already, that is extremely difficult. So I'm just going to talk about, my experience trying to be a short-term trader at work. I didn't have the time to, just leave a meeting and go manage my position, or if I was on the phone, that would kind of signal to maybe the owners or the clients that I just wasn't paying attention. And that's not something that I was willing to, adapt to. So it kind of forced me to become a swing trader. And I just think if you are working a full-time job, trying to become a swing trader or a short-term trader is almost impossible. Like, it's extremely, extremely hard, because you're not going to be able to be 100% focused on the markets while you're working. And that's just the way the world is. So I found myself going to the bathroom all the time, trying to manage my trades. Couldn't trade at my desk. I was missing levels. So there was, key levels that I couldn't see just from a phone. It just makes it extremely hard. And I know that when you're getting into trading, this is the type of trading that you want to learn. And the reality is that it's very hard to do this while you're doing something else with your life. All right. So that's just something to keep in mind. Personality is a whole different thing. So the personality traits that you have to have are, you have to be a quick thinker, you have to be decisive, and you have to be willing to take risks and be detail oriented. I would say most people are okay taking risks, but they don't fit the other three. Like, they're not quick thinkers, they're not decisive, and they're not detail oriented. So them trying to become a short-term trader, right? You're really working against yourself. I know there's many people out there that are just not quick thinkers. And I'm not talking about quick thinking as in you can make a decision very quickly. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, can you make the right decision quickly? All right? Can you make a logical, sound decision quickly? And I think most people cannot do that. They need some time to think about it. All right? If you got a job offer for, or let's say if you got a counter offer from your job, you were thinking about leaving, and they were like, all right, well, here's our counter offer. You need to make a decision right now. Most people are not going to be able to do that. They're going to be like, I need to sleep on this. I need to think about this for a day. If you can do that, I think your IQ probably is already up there. So most people are just not, they're just not cut out for short-term trading because it requires you to be really on top of the ball. And when it comes to learning trading, right, that's a whole different story. Like when we're talking about trying to become a short-term trader, you have to know what you're doing first. And I mention this all the time to my friends, to people around me. It's like you're trying to perform surgery with a butter knife. Like you don't have the skill set, you don't have the steady hand to be able to perform that procedure and do it effectively. All right. So why are you trying to do the hardest modality of trading first? Which I think a lot of people will struggle with, because I struggled with it as well. Like when I first got into trading, I'm like, oh, I'm going to become a day trader. That's the first thing that comes to mind when you're getting into the markets. Like, oh, if I'm not day trading, then I'm not really a trader. That's not true. All right. Because you could be a swing trader. You can be a position trader. I know plenty of swing traders that make really good money, probably more so. They probably make more money than the short term and day traders do, just because the moves are bigger. They're taking larger risks, but just on really great setups, and they don't have to worry about it. Like they're just letting the trade run its course and they're living their life. So in my opinion, swing trading definitely is, I think, one of the better ways of trading, just because you get your freedom back. And that was the whole reason that I got into trading, was I didn't want to sit in front of the screens all day long, because when you do that, you're going to make bad decisions. And again, when you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to become a short-termer or a scalper, right, you're basically going into the major leagues without having any idea or having any skill set behind that approach. So again, it's not just personality traits. It comes down to your experience as well, but the personality traits have a really big impact when it comes to which method of trading I want to pick. Now, if you don't know what your personality traits are and you're struggling with that, the only thing that you could possibly do is trial and error. So you have to go in, figure out, try all the different styles, figure out which one works for you, and do it on a demo account or do it with very little amounts of money. Because if you start swing trading, and then you really find out that you're extremely impatient, but you don't want to do short-term trading, then you either have to work on your patience, right? Or you have to find a different modality, or just try out short-term trading, which, again, I'm not going to recommend to most people, just because it requires a lot. Yes, the feedback is great. Yes, you can learn faster, but I think a lot of people they're skipping that portion of training where they should not be trading any real money, right? They're going straight into challenge accounts, or they're going straight into brokerage accounts and risking whatever they can risk, because, if I'm not trading and making money, then what am I really doing? All right, well, you got to learn first and foremost. And that's something that I wish I did before I started diving in and risking real money in the markets. All right, so short-term trading, right? The pros being agile, so having the ability to quickly respond to market changes, capitalizing on short-term opportunities. Again, you need to know what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to capitalize on it. You're just trading it. You're just out here trading emotionally. Technical proficiency, skilled in using technical analysis tools and strategies to identify trading opportunities. Again, skilled, right? How many years do you have to spend to be skilled at short-term trading? Doesn't happen overnight. And this is really just for people that are getting into the markets. Stick to swing trading for now. Then if you really start having some consistency and you want to kick it up a notch and get more feedback and take more trades, then go into short-term trading. But you have to make sure it fits your lifestyle too. Like if you don't have the time to short-term trade, don't try and squeeze it in, because let's say if you're working at your job and you're taking a short-term trade based on market open, you place the trade and then you get dragged into a meeting and now all of a sudden you have no idea what's going on with the market. That to me is not the proper way of doing things. You're basically just gambling, all right, with your time and your money. So the cons, obviously high stress. People definitely overlook this. They're like, no, I can do it. And then they just realize that they can't stay emotionally balanced. So, the need for quick decisions and frequent monitoring can lead to high stress levels and margin for error. So just keep that in mind when we are thinking about possibly going into short-term trading. Again, time intensive. So intraday trading and scalping, right? This is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of trading. You should not be doing this unless you really, really, really know what you're doing. I don't even personally do this. I'm not, if anything, I'm doing intraday trading. I'm not scalping multiple times in a day. I'm really just trying to find one great setup in a day, and that's it. So capitalizing on high frequency that involves making numerous trades throughout the day, right? And for me, I'm usually not making more than 2, if anything. Often holding positions for just minutes up to a few hours. Personality traits. Now, this is where the personality traits is really going to make an impact, because in order to be able to intraday trade and scalp, you need to be all of these things. You need to be highly focused, quick decision maker, resilient, and detail oriented. Now, if you just take inventory of what kind of person you are, or just look around your friend group, right? How many people do you know that are actually like this? In my opinion, and this is the reason why quants, people that are really good at math and can think objectively, those people are the ones that are really building the algorithms and stuff. Like, they have to be able to do all these things extremely quickly, and without having your emotions tie up and force bad decision making. I don't really know too many people that are like this, and if anything, I don't know anybody like this. I'm not even like this myself. So I would say this is like really cream of the crop type of trading, which not a lot of people can do this. I think more people would be successful with swing trading if they just took a step back and focused on that. But the problem is social media is like pushing this narrative down everybody's throat that if you're not swing trading and you're not trying to make money every single day, then you're not really a trader. That's not true. All right, there's probably swing traders out there again that are making way more money than people that are trading all the time. All right, it's just that guy that's taking the one swing trade might be holding on for multiple weeks, right? But month over month making tons more money than the person that's in there trying to trade every single day. All right. So again, like, do you want to make money, or do you want to try and be right in the market? Because the person that's making money is not trying to force it, first of all, and they just understand their system. If you don't understand your system, you don't understand yourself. You have to spend time and try and figure out which mode of trading is going to be suited for you. But I would say try and avoid intraday trading and scalping at first, because again, this is like the major leagues. This is the cream of the crop. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have all these personality traits on top of having an edge. And I just think for the majority of people out there, you're not going to be able to make it work. And I think that short-term trading and swing trading, you have a much better chance of making it work, because you're not there's more room for you to make an error, because you could be sloppy with your execution, you could be a little bit sloppy with your risk management, but because your execution can be a little sloppy, it kind of makes up for it, right? Whereas intraday trading, scalping, there's almost no room for error. Like, if your stop is placed in a wrong place, even if it's just off by a couple points, you might get tagged out. But if you're swing trading or short-term trading, you might be using a higher time frame level and be less likely to get stopped out. All right. So pros, obviously speed and agility, so you can take a lot of trades, take advantage of all the ups and downs in the markets. But again, most people can't do that. So technical proficiency, right? Skilled in using technical analysis. Another thing that a lot of people are lacking, they just don't have the skills to be able to scalp efficiently. And then cons, the high stress. And don't get me wrong, like, I did do intraday trading and scalping last year, but I burnt out. Like, I got so tired of sitting in front of the screens trading all day long that I just needed a break. And when you're doing intraday trading and scalping, it's almost like you're sitting at the screens for even 5 or 6 hours, and then it just becomes a job again. Whereas short-term trading, I might only have to trade 2 to 3 times a week, and then the rest of my time I could do whatever I want. I could work on another business, I could just go to the beach, whatever it is. So you have to find what works for you. But in my opinion, intraday trading and scalping is not as cracked up as some people make it seem. I hope you learned something from this video and were able to figure out how your personality might line up with your trading system. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.